Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new review show known as Who Knows. That's right, I'm going to be doing Doctor Who reviews, as well as other reviews as well. I'm going to be doing a toy review show as well. But this is for the Whovian fans that have followed me over the years. And don't worry, I did see your comments under videos saying what was my opinions of the new series. So I thought I might as well start a new show up. For long-time viewers, you will know that I used to do reviews a few years ago. And to be honest with you, I really was starting to hit burnout with Doctor Who and that type of an intense review series. And personally, I think I needed some time to take a step back and, as I say, touch grass and figure out what made me a Whovian in the first place. And it was nice to not be a critic, not to do reviews for the new show that came along, and just be a fan again and watch the show. Now, I know it's been a long time. I know that there's the 60th anniversary, the series one, and a Christmas special. I am way behind, but I needed it, to be perfectly honest with you. But now that I'm here, I'm thinking, well, it's time to do a review. Now, to be fair, we're not going to do in-depth episodes reviews of each one, because if I'm starting out again, I don't want to be doing that straight away. So we're going to do the 60th anniversary, like an overall review of the 60th anniversary, and an overall review of Series 1, but that will be in another video. As we all know, Doctor Who has returned. The Russell T Davies era has come about again. Now, if you know from the previous reviews that I've done over in the past, I was on the hype train like everybody else that when Russell announced that he was returning, and personally I was like, yes, great, because like I said in those reviews, I do believe I grew up in the golden years of Doctor Who, because the reboot era was amazing, and this was my Who, if that makes sense. And then I started to think a thought, oh no, this might be bad thought. Coming to the end of those reviews, I had said that maybe Russell coming back is not a good idea. Maybe it'll not be the same as we hope it'll be, or I hope that will be. And the reason why that thought came into my head is because of another creator out there that has done it many moons ago, and that is George Lucas. Now, the reason why I bring up George Lucas in this review about Doctor Who is when Lucas, back in 2004, he made a special edition of his classic movies, basically re-editing, re-changing it, and it did upset a lot of the fans. They were hoping that it would be, leave that alone type thing, the lore, if you will. And that's what I started to think to myself, because now that Disney's involved, what will it be like? You know, with the small budget that Doctor Who had, Russell made it to the best of his abilities, as best as he could. But when you have Disney money, the sky's the limit, and your creativity can be massively big, and that was my concern, and that's why I started thinking about Lucas, because it was like, things can happen. And the reason why I also bring that up is because also Disney have Star Wars as well, and that was my other concern too, because the way that they're doing it with Star Wars, I was worried it was going to do it with Doctor Who. But I gave it the benefit of a doubt, because I was like, right, well, I'm not doing reviews. I'm just doing this as a fan, and I wanted to go into it not doing reviews. And at the time, people were really excited. People had their thoughts and theories and stuff. Some, well, I think a lot, in fairness, everybody was excited. So the very first bit, before we talk about the 60th anniversary, is the lead up to the 60th anniversary, which is the Children in Need special, which I really loved, because I always love Dalek lore. I truly, truly do. And this was a nice little insight into the genesis of the Daleks. Now, we know the genesis of the Daleks from the Fourth Doctor's story, but this was a nice little add-on to it, because my question from years and years ago was, the Davros we've seen in Genesis of Daleks is mutating and is crippled from an accident, and he is now using the Mark III travel device, his creation that he's creating for his own people. And I always thought to myself, did that happen because he was experimenting with the Darkanium and it exploded? I know there probably is an audiobook out there that will explain all that, but this is me thinking it many moons ago. And which I will say to people in the comment section, please feel free to put in your thoughts and opinions and theories out there, because I'd love to hear them as well. But yes, I thought that's what happened. But now we get to see an inside look of Davros before we see Davros and the Fourth Doctor and stuff. So it answered a question for me. It's like, okay, so he was perfectly fine and created the Darlacanium and the Mark III traveling machine. And I love the fact that we get the actor who played Davros in the reboot come back to reprise his role, and that was really exciting to see. Now, I don't know if it's because I've watched too many Sonic movies or the new Sonic movies, but I kind of got the vibe that Davros and the scientist that's in the video or in the episode, it's kind of like Dr. Robotnik and Agent Stone, because the actor looked an awful like Agent Stone. I that's what I got from it. But yeah, I did love the way that we could see what his envision for it was, and the big death claw arm that he had ideated for it, and you're kind of going, okay, I could see that happen, because it kind of, if you do think about it, that claw does eventually be used, not exactly, but we do see it in part of the ways, the torch claw. So yeah, I think the design was still there. Um, but as I say, we get the scientist who's trying to come up with names for the Dalek, and Davros doesn't like it. And the other thing I really, really loved is Davros's minion, which I am very bad at remembering, but he was in the Genesis of the Daleks. It was like his right hand man. You get to hear him over the intercom, and I thought that was truly, truly funny. So obviously Davros has been taken away, and we just get the scientist, and then the TARDIS burst through, and we get to see the 14th Doctor, or Tennant's Doctor. And yeah, it was nice to see how his first reactions are and on screen, and how he still is interfering in Dalek's like history, because he took the claw completely away. Then he gives it the plunger, so it's kind of like a throwaway, like, ha, I've messed with the Daleks again. And through that, Davros likes the new design, doesn't, give off to the scientist. And it's a fun little thing. It's a fun little opening to the 60th. It's a fun little opening to what we are hoping, what we're going to be seeing from the Russell era, or the new Russell era. So it was a nice little jump into it. Then an interview that Russell T Davies said after that caused quite a commotion in the Twitter Who, or X Who. You know what I'm talking about, basically. It divided the conversation that I remember through my Twitter feed, that the lore of Davros has changed, and the Davros we see in that clip is Davros that we're going to see in this. Now, I get that this was the first little worry that I had, was, oh, the lore's been changed or being rewritten. And from some of the interviews that I've heard, I don't know, I've read from Russell's thing, it's kind of like all the Doctor Who that was in the past is no longer anything to do with this. Like, even saying that this is series one, when if you are Whovian, this would be the next season after Jodie's. But it's the Disney era Doctor Who, and I get the intentions for it. I understand. But it's like it's an established character that is a mutant basically, and is using as becoming a Dalek basically, and that's the part where I kind of went the oof. Now you're gonna know that I'm gonna the oofs moments for me is the oh no, you've done goofed. That was a little bit where I was kind of going I okay, I can deal with that. Um, because it's the way we live now. There's a lot of change, and you things like this have to change with time, but it's still kind of confused. It's still a moment where I'm like, you didn't have to do that. I don't know if you're trying to put your print on this, or what your plan was. I personally think that it was just an interview that wasn't really. I don't know. I'd be perfectly honest. I don't know. I just think it was not a good way to rile up the fans. If you're trying to bring fans back into Doctor Who after the whole Chibnall era situation, it's just but it was kind of a glancing blow for me. I was like, okay, fair enough, that's fine. The other thing that I was a wee bit like, really, was the fact that Tennant came back. Now, I know, that is heresy. It is the Tennant. Why would you say that? But hear me out. Now, round about this time, the new Doctor has been announced, and they're doing their press releases and stuff like that. And for me personally, bringing back Tennant just in the middle of this, like, don't get me wrong, you could have brought Tennant back, no problem, for the 6th anniversary. He could have come back as the 10th Doctor, or one of the Doctors. But for me, it felt like you've no faith in your new Doctor, that you're straight away pulling in Tennant to try and, I don't know, bring the fan base back together, going, hey, look at the Tennant's back, and confirming that he is an incarnation of the Doctor, that it isn't just like a de-regeneration problem or something like that. It's confusing, and it felt like if I was the actor that was announced that I'm the Doctor, but then suddenly it's oh yeah, but before you the Doctor, we're going to bring a previous actor in to do the job for I don't know. It didn't feel right, and it just felt like you don't have faith to just automatically just do the regeneration and start off with your actor that you picked. And yeah, it was a bit meh. That's my opinion. I don't think that Tennant shouldn't have came. I don't think Tennant should have came back. I think it literally should have been like straight into Gatwa and do a whole 6th anniversary special and have the other Doctors in it. But yeah, it's just a bit. Even the regeneration was a bit odd, because now we know. So is this lore change now? Is a Gallifreyan clothes now can regenerate as well, because the Doctor gets a full outfit, which was very confusing, and I'm still confused the reason why they did that. Maybe someone in the comment section can explain that to me. But yeah, the start of the Russell era, and there's just so for me personally, there's two oofs, which is not having faith in your new actor and bringing back Tennant for whatever reason, probably to pull the fans back in, probably to go, hey, look, fresh start, new me, new you type thing. Um, and then trying to change the lore of Davros. Now, personally, how I could fix this goof if it was me, I would do it this way. If this is going to be Davros the way he is in that special, and he appears, perfect line. Do what happened in the Capaldi year. the last time we met, Doctor, I used the regeneration that you give me, and now I am fully healed to wreak havoc amongst the stars. That's an easy fix. But I don't know. It just didn't agree with me, and I'm not here to shit on it or hate on it. I am just giving my opinion. Like, I know there's people out there who will love this and love the fact that Tennant came back, and you have every right to. But you also have to respect the fact that I have the right to not like it. You know, not everyone's going to agree with you, and that's something that you have to accept with people, with other people. I've done it many times. I've had discussions with people, and you're kind of going, yeah. But anyway, moving on to the first episode, which is Star Beasts, I think it's called. I should have done some notes, but I haven't because we're just winging it. But it's the villain in it that we is the Meep. But we don't know he's the Meep just yet. But it's a nice grounded episode because we finally get to see what this Doctor can do, and then meeting Donna again. For me, I thought that story was kind of ended, but it was throughout the Whovian thing. It's like, what if they meet? What would happen? Type thing, and we get that in this episode. And you're gonna go, okay, this is new. This is interesting. Will she recognize him? Will she remember what is the Doctor's new face trying to tell him? Because this has also happened with the Capaldi era, where Capaldi's looking at his face, going, "What is this face trying to remind me? What is this face trying to tell me?" And this is what the Tennant face is trying to tell the Doctor, which I gather is trauma. Is don't run away from trauma. Like, confront it and try and fix it. I think that's what the whole premise of the 60th anniversary Doctor was. But we get the Meep, which is quite interesting. I love the fact it's a puppet, and there's a bit of CGI in the eyes, but it's the Meep. It's a little cute and frotty little gremlin thing. And it is also nice what Russell has done is acknowledge somebody else's work. This was from a comic book strip, I believe, or a book. And he basically turned it into an episode, which is really, really nice. So it is. And give credit to the original creator as well. So that's really cool. And I think that'll be a nice warm feeling. If I created something like that and someone else took that creation and went, hey, I've put my own little spin on it, but this is the original person, it does give you a warm feeling going. You get credit where credit's due. And this episode was quite nice. We also get Unit. Unit comes back. I really love Unit. Now, I've really got a special warm feeling for Unit because I went back and started watching the John Pertwee era, the third Doctor's era, and went, you know what? I like the Unit. They're not just a throwaway soldiers exploding and dying people. There's actually proper communication with them, and that's one thing we get to see in this episode is we get to see the new scientific advisor, which also kind of sadly confirms what I thought happened, which I hope didn't happen, is Missy did kill the other scientific advisor. I was hoping that was like the Zygon and that scientific advisor survived, but it looks like Missy turned her to dust, and that's quite sad. But anyway, we get the new scientific advisor, which is really, really good. Takes charge. I really like that scientific advisor. I really like the character. Straight away, no nonsense. Just bumps into the Doctor straight away, and it's like, okay, you're here. Let's talk. But yes, so we Unit is heavily involved in this episode, and also get taken over by the spaceship's defense mechanism, which is also quite great little in-depth lore about the Meep, because realistically the Meep is the size of a giant teddy bear. Like, you could punt that over a fence or literally do an Austin Powers by putting a blanket over it and smashing it all around the room. So it doesn't feel like a threat. But when you look at the fact that it has a defense capability, that it actually can take control of anybody that goes near the ship, then it's a threat. And that's quite good to see that the Meep is a threat and has an army. By the end of the episode, it has a full army. We also get introduced to Rose, which is Donna's daughter, and it's quite nice. There's a little bit of, she remembers the name Rose. Maybe she remembers Rose, and that's why she named her daughter Rose, which is quite good. I like that. I also like the fact we get to see the other family members as well, like the mother and stuff, and we get to see these big bug-eyed creatures from space, which you at the beginning you think they're villains, but they're actually space cops. Space cops here specifically to get the meep. And I love that little moment where the meep just goes, ah, bugger it all, I'm caught, and shoots to him straight in the face, and then decides to try and blow up the world. And you're kind of going like, okay, this is quite threatening. But then the emotional part hits. Is the fact is they're trapped in the ship. They're trying to save the world basically, and the only way the Doctor can do this is to activate Dr. Donna again, which means that she's going to die. And I don't know if this was Russell giving a call back to Sound of Drums, but that's definitely what I got from this shot, is when Donna dies, they've got exactly the same shot as the way the Master died in the Doctor's arms. And I thought, that's so wonderful. Now, I might be wrong, but you could, go back and watch it yourself. Watch Sound of Drums, watch this, put the two of them together, and you're like, yeah, this is exactly the same shot. This is very emotional. And I thought that was it. I generally thought that that was it. Donna's dead. This is really going to traumatize the Doctor. But then we get a twist, which is basically the energy has been transferred down the line to Rose, and the both of them survive, and they get that moment where they burn off the energy and save the day. Now I'm kind of sitting to myself going, okay, but there's one little thing I'm thinking of. Do they still have the Time Lord essence in them, like the energy in them? Or is that all burnt off and they're just back to normal? It's not really, as maybe, but who knows? Then we get a little bit of a, I'm going to tell my boss, you bugger, with the Mape. I truly like this episode. It was nice. You got to see the Doctor at his finest. You get to see Unit again, which they're not being treated like a joke. It's a proper, like, these are our last defense against aliens. And it's a nice round off, a nice episode. Also, before I end that part of it, is we get to see a sonic screwdriver. Of course, I did not forget. The sonic screwdriver is quite interesting because now it has holographic screen, and it also can make force fields and resonate through concrete or mortar. Quite interesting. I do like the style of the screwdriver. I do plan to do a review of that screwdriver, but it's finding it at a right price, because my God, the internet, you go crazy over a sonic screwdriver. The prices are ridiculous. Chill. But then we get on to the next episode, which is Wild Blue Yonder, and holy hell, is this dark. I do like the fact that Russell didn't go, because Disney, let's go kid friendly, let's go all like Sunshine and Rainbows type method. They didn't turn into a kiddie show. They really went dark with this one. And we get a ship at the edge of the universe, and there's no sign of life, bar one machine known as Jimbo. But before that, we get to see a wonderful little tiny minute, is the minute with Sir Isaac Newton. I discovered gravity. And you're kind of going, okay, that's a nice little fun moment and a little wacky moment, and the Doctor crashed into the tree and like, hello, I've messed up today, and bye. That was fun. But going back to the ship, we get Jimbo, and that's another proper, like, mechanical machine, like a proper prop. I'm just sad we didn't get to see much of it. Now, at the time, I thought this was going to be the new K9 of the new Doctor Who thing, because I was like, that would save so much problems. Because you just put an actor in it and the actor walks around. You don't have to have the robot in every episode. It could be fooling around in the TARDIS. It could be helping the Doctor out and whatnot. But yeah, no, that's not what happened. It was literally just a plot device. Which the plot device was blow the ship apart. But we also get these wonderful new villains, which my theory is these villains have appeared before. Now, cast your mind back to an episode way back in the day in the series 4 known as Midnight, and we get a creature that mimics the Doctor, that tries to become the Doctor, but unfortunately is foiled and gets blasted out through the door. I believe these are the same type of creatures, and this is what the Doctor's encountered before with a different type of species, maybe the same type of species, because it doesn't feel like it's a new one. It just feels like Midnight only in space. And alien mixed together. And I really loved it. I love the fact that these creatures are they learn everything from you. They try to, like, really, like, they get you. Oh. And the problem is because they have got, like, a corporeal form, they start to, like, fall apart. Like, the arms are all morphed in that. And it's really, like, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of here now. That's how it is, how crazy it is. And you get that moment when the Doctor figures out, why is the ship being so slow? Why is it on, like, literally running on low power? And we get to see the reason why is because obviously these creatures had invaded the ship. We don't know if the ship was fully crewed. I think they did. I think it was our locks or something. People were the airlocks were opened or escape pods were launched. I might be wrong. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've watched the episode. Well, I say a while. It's been a couple of days, but in my mind. But anyway, we get the fact that it is the captain who did this, and I think realized the fact that these creatures are mimicking them and tried to save the universe from these creatures wreaking havoc, and jumped out of a airlock. And now these creatures were formless creatures in the ether until the Doctor and Donna came along. And that's another thing too. And I did like the fact that the TARDIS and the Doctor are gone from it, that we're not relying on them. And we get that wonderful chase sequence when they all realize, stop Jimbo, no. And we get that moment where the ship blows up in their face. We get that confused moment with the Doctor pecking two Donnas and going, right, you're coming along with me. And we were left with the real Donna on the ship. And I generally thought myself, oh my God, like Donna's gonna die, and this entity is just gonna pretend to be Donna, and then, oh, it's gonna be horrible. But thankfully, the Doctor figures it out, throws the doppelganger out of the TARDIS, saves Donna. But the one thing that really, really resonates is that traumatized them. Like, it wasn't just like a, hey ho, that was a great adventure, everything's perfectly fine. No, it really was that nice shot at the end where they're holding each other in the TARDIS, just like, hey, look, let's just get back home. That was a lot. And what a way to end the episode is where we get to see Wilford again. And it really does hurt to know the fact that this is the actor's final time as the role, because not long after that they passed away, and their shots for the next episode was just a body double. And I love the dynamic between the Doctor and Wilf, that sadly we're never going to get to see again, but it's a great honor. We get to see him come back and reprise his role one last time, whether it was short or not. It was great to see. Then we move on to the Giggle, and we get to see the toy maker. The toy maker, to me personally, is amazing. I really truly love what the toy maker is. Don't think we really appreciate how much of a threat the toy maker was. Like, if the toy maker survived this, he could have wreaked havoc across the cosmos. Like, that whole segment in Unit where he literally turns soldiers into bouncy balls, and the horror of the scientific advisor seeing one of the soldiers, like, it's terrifying, turning bullets into flowers. Like, this person could just mess around with time. It's a god. It's literally a god that you're fighting, and it's insane. And I do love that this is the build up, like these are the threats, the gods, the Doctor's fighting the gods. And in front, I would love to see the Toymaker come back, but this was just perfect. The perfect villain to end the 60th anniversary. We also get the fact that we get to see Mel come back. We get to see the Doctor reunite with Mel. And I do love the fact that they acknowledge Savalon Glitz. Like, I love Glitz. Like it's a shame that the actors passed away, but it's nice that they've honored the character, because I loved him. I loved him so much, and it did explain how Mel came back. Like, she hitched a ride back to Earth, and Unit helped her back and recruited her. Um, which was nice. Which was nice to see that, and to see the dynamic with the Doctor and that. Um, and Unit as well. Like, Unit was great. Like, it was great to see Brigadier back as well. Um, and just to see that they're not treated like a joke anymore, or they're just throwaway characters being blown up left, right, and center. They are in there. They're here to stay. And it's also the fact of how threatening and ingenious the Toymaker did, by, after getting basically the Doctor opening up that like making that game at the end of the universe, the whole Salt game, that he's the reason why Toymaker got here into our universe and started wreaking havoc on it. And it also, another little nice little teasy moment was like, oh, I played a game with the Master. Of course, we have to bring the Master in. We can't say the Master's dead. Nobody ever dies. And he was sealed away in his tooth because he lost the game. We'll get back to that in a minute, but it's so scary and devastating. Like, turning that poor man into a doll, that was terrifying. Having those creepy little dolls, the doll babies and the mother, that was terrifying too. They were like the nice little creepy moments. It wasn't just played for fun. It was like, yeah, this person, this creature, this entity is dark, and it really wants to seek revenge on the Doctor because you beat me. I can't be beaten. I must win. And I love the logic with it is that the Toymaker doesn't like cheat. He will follow whatever the rules are, and that's a wonderful, wonderful way to play a villain like this, because it's Achilles' heel. And we get to see that at the end where he blasts the Doctor through the hearts, and because he refuses, he likes this thing. He gives. It's also a nice little shot at our culture, with the Toymaker, because I don't think it was specifically a shot at the Whovian fandom. I think it's just a shot at the culture that we live in, that we're so easily offended. We all think we're right. We don't really think about the consequences. We just tweet and blurb it all out, and sometimes you sit back and go, maybe I shouldn't have done that post, or maybe I've matured. I love that the way the Toymaker did it was specifically, I made the game. The game was this. I made everybody right. And what happens? Total chaos. Now, of course, if you are an entity like that and you've got the entire universe, a whole universe to play every game under the sun, no, you're not going to say, yeah, okay, Doctor, I'm perfectly fine with this. And then we get the weirdest thing ever, which is the regeneration sequence. Russell has done some interesting things with regeneration sequences. And I've now officially given up on trying to figure out what a Time Lord biology is, because it's changed so many times. You cut their hand off, they grow another version of themselves. They can save themselves if they have. I know it's a one-off, but still, they can throw their regeneration energy away. You can also force regeneration, like the Master merged with Jodie's Doctor, all this mess, all this stuff, and now we get them splitting apart, under the pretense of trauma, if I'm correct. I think that's the reason why how this new version of the Doctor was created. I don't know. It's just I do you know what? I go with it. The old tried and thing that I've always said in all the reviews that I've done is just don't question it. Just go with it. It is what it is. I know that it caused a bit of a confusion to people. I think it also did cause a bit of controversy as well, where this isn't the way the Doctor regenerates. But it's kind of like, hey, this is a new year. It's not, I know it sounds bad, but like for the people who are hardcore fans or don't like change, this isn't really made for us. We don't have to watch this anymore. Like for me personally, I stopped really being a hardcore Doctor Who fan after Series 3 ended. If I'm being totally honest with you, I didn't like Series 4. But that was also the fact that I was starting to go out more. I got myself a job. I was in a relationship. I was moving on to different franchises like the DC franchise, like Arrow, Flash, Supergirl. So, you change, you move on and stuff like that. And personally, that's what I believe. I believe but we get the Doctor defeats, or the Doctors defeat the toy maker, and we get a little bit of our like perfect thing what Russell does, because Russell's done it with every series. He's always like follows up like there's a subplot to the big bad, and the last thing that the toy maker goes is, well, watch your back, Doctor, he's awaiting for you. And you're like, ooh, okay. But then the final little bit we get is, of course, is the Master survives by this mysterious hand, just like the sound of drums and Last of the Time Lords. This little hand comes out. Now, personally, I think that like like maybe one of the cult of masters have survived and are still lingering around and are going to resurrect them. Or what I would love to happen is that was the Rani. Bring it, came in and picked it up. Now I know for a fact, for if you're a hardcore fan of Doctor Who, we've all wanted the Rani to come back. We all thought the Rani, the last time when a hand was taken away, taking the ring away, that we thought, oh my God, it's the Rani, and we were denied. So who knows? But the Master survives. So you can't just erase him from the universe. So yeah, after that, the Doctor has a nice little talk with himself, tells him to enjoy life and just let go of the past, move forward, gives himself a new a TARDIS, his own TARDIS, and he gets to be with everybody else, like be with a family. And he doesn't necessarily have to be there. Now, my thoughts on that is specifically this. The reason why we get Tennant and all the companions and all at the very end is very, very specifically this. Disney. And the reason for that is Disney does it with Star Wars. They want TV shows. So if they are making, I think there was rumors and stories that they're going to make a unit TV series. Well, what better way to do that is to bring back Tennant. Like, Tennant doesn't have to be in every single episode because Tennant is a very big actor now. But you can do cameo moments or a special episode where they bring Tennant into it. But that's specifically the reason why Tennant was back. That's my thoughts on the 60th anniversary is Tennant was back because they want to do a standalone episode. Or they could also do their own show with that version of the Doctor going off through time and space. Who knows? It's up there for everybody. But that's what I truly believe. It is a part of this unit story. That's if we get it. Now, personally, right now, while I film this, we don't know if there's going to be a season 3. Hasn't been confirmed. We do know there's a season 2. But as if, hypothetically, there is no season 3, and this is a lot of people I've discussed it with, and a lot of people I've seen online, they believe this is the final breath of Doctor Who, like this is the last ditch attempt, and then it's all meh. But if it is, Disney is smart enough to go, right, okay, this show didn't go too well. Let's take a little step back and let's do TV series, like small little series, like let's do your unit special, let's do this special, let's do that special. Do it that way. Or it could be the end. Who knows? But overall, the 60th anniversary for me, it was fun. I enjoyed it. As a fan, I enjoyed it. I did have a few problems, like everybody. My only two little oof moments were the fact is you're trying to change Davos's lore, and you felt like you didn't have faith in your new actor to just have him as the Doctor in the specials. But I think also Russell did say that he just wanted to have Tennant back just cause. And fair enough, fair enough. It's his show. He can do what he want with it. Um, but yeah, I hope this was a roundabout of my thoughts and opinions. I was going to do separate episodes, but I can't be bothered. I'm only back. I'm only back, and this has been out long, couple of years now. So, and it's been done to death. So it's a quick speed up to catch up with everybody else is doing reviews. So yes, I hope you like this first episode. I will be doing the overall review of series one. I'm going to be doing it with a guest. And I hope you enjoy it. Probably won't be like this. We will be changing our location to do the that episode. But yeah, I hope this was your. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, this isn't super serious reviews and in depth lore and blah, blah, blah. This is just a very chill out review. If you want if you like chilled out reviews and not like super in depth deep lore breaking things, or this wasn't right, or I hated this because this was this. If you just want to have a sit down and have this in the background when you're working on your projects, then this is the review show for you. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will have a toy review out soonish. But until then, I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye, everybody.